Hello and welcome to the third episode of 1 Minute Games. Today we will shoot some hoops. Like and subscribe and stick to the end for the bonus project. For a floor to stand on, make a cube with dimensions of 20 by 20. For a recognizable character, few cubes are enough. One for a head and body, another for shirt, and two more for hands. Create him a head as well so we know the direction he's looking at. Arms rotate around elbows instead of shoulders. Create an empty object with a pivot at shoulder height and put arms inside it. Play around some more and create your favorite NBA player, that is Luka Doncic that I made here. Next, we need a hoop. We will also add an empty object and use it later for a reference point for Luka to aim at. And finally, there is no basketball without a ball. Let's create a script and start coding. We will start simple by making the character walk around. First, let's get the walk direction from the left, right, up and down arrow keys. We can use this direction vector to add it to the current position. With a move speed variable, we can control speed, and with the delta time, we compensate for dropped frames. At last, we rotate the character in the direction it is walking. Next, let's teach Luka dribbling. First, the character needs to know about the ball object, so we add a reference. Also add references to arms and to points in space. When the ball is in hands, it can be held over the head or dribbling. For holding the ball, we can assign holding the space key, otherwise the ball is dribbled automatically. When holding, move the ball object to the overhead position, else move the ball to the dribble position. Let's start the game with a ball in hands. Next, we need to create these positions in the scene, then link all of the references. We can see the ball is above the character's head when holding space, and on the floor otherwise. Let's also rotate the arms to follow the ball. The last thing is dribbling. Let's move the ball starting from the dribble position in the up direction. How high up can be controlled by the sine wave. To make it bouncy, take valid parts of the wave and flip them up by the apps function, which returns negative values as positive. The ball bounces, and now we can tell your parents and friends that math classes came in handy in real life as well. In the next step, we'll make the ball travel from the hands to the hoop. First, let's make the character look towards the target. That's easy with the built-in method called lookAt, as it only needs a target position to look towards. We will link the hoop target point and get its parent object that has origin at the base, which is what we need. Let's link the target point object and test. We can see the character is facing the hoop when holding the ball. Finally, it's time for the ball. The ball must move from point A to point B, and the lerp function is perfect for that. If the last parameter is 0, it gives us the position A. If it's 1, we get the position B. For any value in between, we get a position somewhere between the two. The ball starts from the position overhead and travels towards the target point at the hoop. To move the ball, we increase a variable over time. To keep it in range between 0 and 1, we divide it by how long we want the ball to travel. For the ball to be thrown on the release of the space key, we need to set isBallFlying to true and isBall in hands to false. The time variable also needs to be reset each time. We can see the ball is flying, but it gets stuck at the end. Let's fix that in the next step and add some arc to the throw. The moment when the ball arrives is when the t01 has a value of 1. At that moment, we need to set the bool isBallFlying to false. Here we will also turn on the gravity of the ball so it falls through the hoop. Get the rigid body component and set isKinematic to false, which switches the rigid body to the physics mode. But the ball does not have the rigid body yet. Turn the isKinematic on for the start. Let's move the throwing code up so that we limit throwing of the ball to only when it's in our hands. Now let's continue with the arc. Again, we will use the sine function, but this time only the first half of its curve, which has an arc in a shape exactly that we need. We can multiply the time to squeeze the arc in the same 0 to 1 range, and the value to do that is exactly pi. Add the arc vector to the ball position and test. The ball now flies in a natural curve and drops through the hoop due to the rigid body switched to the physics mode, but we still can't pick up the ball. Let's add this feature in the last step. When the character is near the ball, this special built-in method onTriggerEnter is called. At this point we can pick up the ball. But first we need to check that the ball is not already in our hands and that the ball is not flying. If that is true, it means that the ball is on the floor and we can pick it up. We can set the bool isBall in hands to true and switch the rigid body of the ball to the kinematic or non-physics mode. For the game to know when the character is close to the ball and to call the onTriggerEnter method, we need to add a capsule collider to the character and set isTriggerValue to true. And that's it! Congrats! Our little virtual Luka Doncic now knows all of the basics to perform his famous step back 3 shot. Think about how you can improve the game by implementing scoring system, adding a second player control with a separate set of keys, and maybe even a ball stealing mechanic based on being close enough to the player and pressing a steal key. With some more imagination, you can make a game of throwing anything, like in this trash collecting example. Don't forget to share your creations with us on social media. Good job for sticking to the end, and if you learned something new and find it useful, like and subscribe for more videos and share it with others. Also check out our Patreon for bonus content. Have a nice day and see you next time.